What is going on, everybody? I am back, and today I'm going to be looking at the evolution of Chucky. Now, this is one of my most popular videos, and probably for good reason. Chucky is a very popular character. People seem to love killer dolls, and, I think Brad Dourif and Chucky and, just everything that came together in that first movie is, very iconic, and it was iconic enough to, carry this franchise for forever. Because I think it was, what is it, 8 movies now? Maybe more? And there's a TV show. There's a lot of stuff going on with Chucky. So, I want to look back at one of my earlier animations, although this is one of the animations that I did after I became full-time. So, I think it holds up pretty well still, although I'll let you know my thoughts after we watch the video together again. So, I am going to be changing the format up a little bit here. Instead of it being as long, I'm trying to shorten these videos down a little bit. I'm going to try to make the editing a little simpler for myself. So, basically, I'm going to be doing this little intro like what I just did right here. Then we're going to be hopping in, watching the video. I'm not going to pause it as much, unless there's something very specific to answer, or that I think you guys might have questions about. And then afterwards, I'm going to talk a little bit about the video, what I think, how it holds up, and whatnot. So yeah, with that said, let's just jump into the evolution of Chucky animated right now.
Chucky has terrorized toy chests for over 30 years.
So that beginning part there, I'm just going to quickly mention. Basically, the campaign for Child's Play 2019 basically saw them kind of doing generic versions of different movie dolls, and had Chucky pretending to take them out or whatever. So basically I had this intro kind of just be as a play on that, so you can kind of see a generic Woody, a generic Annabelle, generic Teletubby, small soldier, and as well as a Furby.
Toy chests for over 30 years. But just how has he changed since his original incarnation? Let's go through his story and evolution to find out. In 1988's Child's Play.
So one of the big changes that I did for this video in the updated version is kind of just tweak Brad Dourif's face. There's a very fine line between Brad Dourif and Tommy Wiseau from The Room, if you draw them both kind of generically. So I kind of had to put a bit more detail into his face, make sure his nose looks correct, the shape of his head is correct and everything, so that way he actually looks like Charles Lee Ray and not Tommy Wiseau.
When criminal Charles Lee Ray, nicknamed Chucky, is shot down, he uses voodoo magic to transfer his soul into a good guy.
So another thing I had to do was kind of give Chucky a generic look here, so that you can kind of learn what he looks like later on.
Play doll, giving life to the tiny toy slasher. He wears a striped shirt, overalls, and red shoes. It seems the longer he spends in doll form, the more human-looking he becomes, with bushier eyebrows and a receding hairline. To avoid becoming a doll forever, he realizes he needs to transfer his soul into Andy, the first person he revealed his identity to. Before he gets the chance, he's burned in a fireplace and...
I always really liked the design I did on the burned Chucky here. It was quite a bit of detail, especially for one of my earlier animations.
And shot to pieces. In an effort to prove he was never alive, in Child's Play 2, the doll manufacturers rebuild Chucky from his charred remains with larger facial features and brighter overalls. A freak electrical accident brings him back to life, and he continues his search for Andy. Despite upgrading to a knife hand, he's forced into machinery and loses his legs. Still determined, he replaces them with a wheel cart, and then gets melted by molten plastic and fed an air tube, exploding his head.
So Child's Play 2 is actually my favorite of the franchise. Especially has I think it's my favorite look for Chucky, has my favorite ending of any movie, and I think it has some of the best camera work of any of the sequels, and it probably also the first film. So yeah, I really like Child's Play 2.
Taking place 8 years later, Chucky's leftovers are picked back up in Child's Play 3. But when his blood drips into a batch of molten plastic, he's reassembled and born again. This time with a chubbier, more squished face. He manages to find Andy, but then chooses a new target for his soul transfer. He's ultimately sliced by a carnival attraction, giving him a new two-faced look, and then gets dropped into a giant fan, shredding him to pieces. But in Bride of Chucky, he's put back together again and reawoken with voodoo magic. He now has a less squished face and a prominent widow's peak.
So this is my favorite look for Chucky, I think. Just it's so iconic having him all stitched back together, and the widow's peak, and just I think this is kind of what people think of when they think of Chucky, especially my generation, because these are the movies that I saw advertised as I was growing up, and yeah, I really like this look.
Tiffany, his human girlfriend turned doll fiancé.
So yeah, I really like Bride of Chucky as well. It's not my favorite of the Chucky movies, but it does introduce Tiffany, who I think is a great character. You get Jennifer Tilly in the role, who I think is really good as this comedic kind of horror character as well. And I think Chucky and her dynamic in this film works really well too.
joins him in obtaining a magic amulet with the power to transfer them both into new human bodies. But after some domestic bickering, Chucky gets shot and left in his grave. In Seed of Chucky, a new animatronic doll is created for an in-film Chucky movie, alongside his co-star Tiffany. This Chucky has blonder hair and brighter clothes.
So one thing I would do, if I ever did like an update on this video, is to make his face not to be so chubby on the cheeks. It does like slim up a little bit, I believe, in Seed of Chucky here. So that's one thing that I would add to like just put a little bit more detail into the video.
Their long-lost son/daughter finds them and, using the magic amulet, brings them back to life. Then, following a bit of familial disagreement, Chucky gets lopped to pieces by his offspring. Yet, in Curse of Chucky, he's back in one piece yet again.
So it is interesting how he can get sliced up in that movie and then he's basically dead, but in Cult of Chucky, he's just a head on a board and he can still be alive? Oh well. Just don't think about stuff too much, I suppose.
He has darker overalls, paler skin, straightened red hair, and oddly, no more scars. He spends most of his time in a wide-eyed doll form, secretly causing havoc for wheelchair-bound Nika and her family.
So Nika here is actually played by Brad Dourif's daughter, and in the Chucky TV show, she plays a young Charles Lee Ray. She has like some prosthetics on to make her look more like her father, and I think Brad Dourif does his own voice for those parts, like voices over her acting. But I think it's very interesting that they used her in like so many different ways in the show now, or in this franchise now, I should say.
When she finds out he's alive, Chucky explains that, as a human, he knew her family and came back to get revenge. While Nika gets blamed for Chucky's recent deeds, Chucky makes his way to his old pal Andy's place to finally finish him off. But Andy has other plans. In Cult of Chucky, Chucky is missing a chunk of his head, is bodiless, and chained to a board. Cult also features another Chucky doll, with large spaced-apart eyes and a thicker neck. A recently buried one-armed variation, a short-haired version, but he doesn't last too long, and a...
So some people comment that the short-haired version is not taken out like that in the movie. He's actually, I think, if I recall, he's like punched in the stomach and then like torn apart. And I was like, even if I like showed that, I'm not sure if YouTube would like seeing something, because that it's probably one of the more gruesome scenes of all of the franchise. So that's kind of why I just kind of made it a little bit more simpler there.
Chucky possessed Nika, who takes off with Tiffany, leaving several Chuckies behind to cause mayhem.
And that's where the original video more or less ended. There was like a little ending scene to finish it off. But then, so this is the updated version with 2019. So we go into that now.
The 2019 reboot, Chucky is now a Kaslan AI buddy doll. His overalls are plain, his shirt stripes are thicker, and his head is larger, with gigantic eyes, slicked hair, and a constantly contorting expression. His index finger lights up to connect to other Kaslan electronics, and when acting out, his eyes glow bright red. Oh, and he also loves to sing.
So that is me singing there as Buddy or Chucky, whatever you want to call him. And, you know, obviously I'm not Mark Hamill, who plays him in this movie, but I think I do an okay job at pretending to be him.
The film also briefly features a blonde, short-haired Buddy 2 doll, a red-headed variation, an African-American Buddy, as well as a fuzzy bear version. Accessories like a Santa hat, diving helmet, and leprechaun outfit can also be spotted. The original Buddy doll is coded to be evil by a disgruntled factory worker. Later, after imprinting on Andy, he seeks revenge on those that threaten their relationship. But ultimately, Chucky is overpowered, beaten to pieces, and melted down.
So originally, when he's getting beaten with the baseball bats there, I was going to include a scene of Andy's friends like doing that. So here, let me just find because I did those designs. So I'm going to show you those designs because you'll never see them elsewhere. But I did have it on my Instagram, so let's go check those out now. So here we go. I was able to find the post from a few years back. So this is Andy, obviously. He does make it into the video. But his friends were originally supposed to be holding baseball bats, and then they would start hitting Chucky. And I was like, that's going to be a lot of animation, and I want to get this video out, at some point. So I had to cut that out. But I want you guys to see the designs here, because you guys probably wouldn't get the chance to see it unless you follow this Instagram and were subscribed to it or following it, 2 or 3 years ago, however long this was posted. But yeah, so here they are here. I think I did a pretty good job with these designs. So, take those in, enjoy them. But all right, back to the video.
But can you ever truly get rid of a faulty AI? Speaking of which, this phone has really been glitching a lot. There we go, that's better. Huh?
And that is the evolution of Chucky. Let me know what you guys think of the video this many years later. I still think it holds up, pretty well. There's like a few things I would change probably in there. Like I mentioned that the face is not as squished in Seed of Chucky. And obviously I need to add in the TV show soon. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that. I'm in no extreme rush. It's kind of hard to like line things up with TV shows because like people are most hyped for it as soon as it comes out. But then by the time the season final comes out, people have moved on to the next thing. So it's like, when do I update Chucky? I don't know. Maybe like if they ever had like another movie coming out, or if they ever did like a sequel to the Child's Play remake, or just something like that. So that's definitely when I would think about doing it. But maybe after the third season, it's gonna be like kind of like that'd be like quite a bit of stuff, because they seem to always change the model up every season here, at least from what I can tell. Although I haven't watched all of season 2 yet, so don't go spoiling me in the comments. I'm still looking forward to watching it. And yeah, I don't know. I think this one holds up well, especially after the updates. After fixing a few of those things like Brad Dourif's face and just like giving it a better intro. And for this one, this is the only update so far, because I've done the update on Michael Myers, I've done the remake on Michael Myers, and I did the update on this Chucky video. So with all those ones, I changed the music, except for the Chucky video, which I just really like the music in this one. So if I'm able to license it again for the next release of Chucky, I probably will do that, because I think there's just not any other music that I can see fitting with this video. Obviously if I hear something else I'm like, this could really work, I might put that in. But, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with how this video turned out. I'm pretty happy with how people enjoyed it so much. Because there was a time where I did a poll on my channel, and I said, hey guys, which slasher character do you want me to cover? And of those options, the Leatherface one won pretty substantially. So like when I was covering the Chucky one and like working on it, I was like, I'm not sure if people are going to be into this, because this didn't even win that poll. But then this one did way better than the Leatherface one. So I don't know. But either way, the Leatherface one is also pretty popular. But the Chucky one seems to be one of my most popular horror ones. I'm not sure if it's the most popular horror one, but maybe if you put the two videos together, the original and the update, it might be. Or maybe Michael Myers did, especially now that there's 3 Michael Myers videos to add up. But maybe as a lone video, Jason might be. I don't know. You guys let me know if you guys care about that stuff. I don't care that much. As long as people keep watching the videos more or less, and I can keep doing this for a living, I'm happy. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think of the Chucky video. Let me know what you think about this commentary. If there's anything else you want to ask me, let me know in the comments. And until next time, I've been Aaron, and I'll tell you something later.